Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking something absolutely massive, the fascinating recruitment machinery of the Indian Railways. Just think for a second about what it actually takes to staff one of the world's largest employers. We're talking about an organization that literally keeps an entire nation moving. To pull that off, you need a system that is incredibly complex, highly regimented, yet, as you'll see, surprisingly human in certain places. So today, we're going to break down the whole shebang. The rules, the exams, the strict hierarchies, and the exceptions that make this organizational giant tick.
We've got a lot of ground to cover today, so here's our roadmap. We'll start with Part 1, the big picture. Then move to Part 2, the elite brass, which is Group A. After that, Part 3, climbing the ladder. Then Part 4, the engine room, focusing on the RRB. And finally, we'll explore Part 5, the side doors. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Big Picture. 8 Paths to Entry.
You might think getting a job here just means sitting down and passing one single massive test, right? Well, actually, scratch that. There isn't just one way in. There are 8 highly distinct modes and agencies for recruitment. It ranges all the way from elite national exams run by the Union Public Service Commission for top executives, right down to the railway recruitment cells for Group D staff. But it doesn't stop there. It also includes really specific avenues, like screening casual laborers, making appointments on compassionate grounds, and even reserving spots for artists and athletes. It's a multi-layered net, meticulously designed to capture vastly different types of talent.
Section 2, the elite brass. Group A and the UPSC.
Let's start at the very top of the pyramid. These are the leaders and decision-makers, and they enter through a highly rigorous channel, falling into one of these 9 organized services. Direct recruitment for these roles happens through the UPSC based on intense annual competitive exams. We're looking at super specialized tracks here. For instance, the Combined Engineering Services Examination feeds those first 5 technical branches. The Civil Services Examination feeds traffic, accounts, and personnel. And the Combined Medical Services Examination, well, that's what brings in the doctors.
Now here's a really interesting detail. The top tier isn't just some closed club for brilliant exam takers. In fact, exactly half of these top-tier Group A vacancies in any given year are filled by fresh, direct recruits taking those UPSC exams. But the other 50%? Those slots are earned by veteran Group B staff who've worked their way up the ranks through departmental promotion committees. It's a brilliant way to ensure balance, right? You blend fresh, highly academic outside talent with deeply experienced, practical knowledge promoted from within. The only exception to this rule is the medical service, which is 100% direct recruitment.
So imagine bringing all these different departments together. Engineers, doctors, traffic controllers, accountants. How on earth do you figure out who outranks who when they cross paths? Well, the railways use a metric called DIST. That stands for Date for Increment in Timescale, and this locks in an officer's seniority across the board. If an officer somehow gets superseded by someone in their own service, their composite seniority adjusts automatically. It's basically a strict mathematical way to maintain a fair, objective hierarchy across incredibly varied disciplines.
And look at this number, 3,300. Within their own batch, an officer's entire career trajectory is dictated by this ultimate scorecard of 3,300 maximum marks. You don't just pass the UPSC exam and kick your feet up, no way. 2,050 of those marks come from the UPSC competition itself, sure, but another 1,250 marks are based purely on performance during probationary training out in the field and at professional institutes. Every single exam, every assessment by a controlling officer, it all matters. The rank you secure out of this 3,300 literally dictates your placement in the hierarchy for decades to come.
Section 3. Climbing the ladder, the Group A promotion timeline. Promotions in the railways are rigidly structured. They are tied to both time and performance, meaning you can't just skip steps. You start at the junior scale. To get to the senior scale, you've got to put in 4 years and hit a performance benchmark of good. To hit the junior administrative grade, it takes a minimum of 8 years. Selection grade requires entering your 14th year of service. And finally, the climb gets much steeper. To reach the senior administrative grade, or SAG, an officer must complete at least 17 years of service, and the performance benchmark jumps up to very good, which is judged by a full departmental promotion committee. It's a highly calculated, systematic climb.
Section 4. The engine room. Railway Recruitment Boards, or RRBs, explained.
Now, let's step out of the executive suites and down into the absolute engine room of this whole operation, the machinery handling the sheer volume of Group C and Group D hiring. This system didn't just appear out of thin air. It evolved from a single experimental service commission back in 1942. As the railways grew in the 50s, it expanded to 4 commissions. By 1985, they were officially renamed to Railway Recruitment Boards. Fast forward to today, and there's a massive, centralized network of 20 boards across the country, all closely monitored by the Railway Recruitment Control Board in New Delhi to track performance and policy.
Each of these 20 boards is tightly managed by a specific 3-person leadership team, a chairman, a member secretary, and an assistant secretary. But get this, here is the really clever part. When it comes to the non-gazetted staff working at these boards, exactly 1/5 of them are replaced every single year to maintain a strict 5-year maximum tenure. This constant rolling rotation is an incredibly smart mechanism to prevent stagnation and ensure absolute integrity in the recruitment process.
In fact, the official recruitment manual makes a powerful insistence on absolute meritocracy. It literally says the entire computerized recruitment system functions impersonally without fear or favor. They are dead serious about having zero scope for corruption, influence, or personal discretion in these exams. Eligible candidates take written exams, undergo intense psychological tests for safety roles, and have their documents strictly verified. The machine is deliberately designed to be completely blind to everything but merit.
Section 5. The side doors, quotas, and compassionate hiring. Because the railways aren't just a cold, impersonal machine, let's look at the side doors. This is where the organization shows its deeply human priorities through exceptions to the rigid exams. The most striking of these is the compassionate ground appointment. The system deliberately bypasses normal recruitment rules to offer a lifeline to the families of employees who die, are permanently crippled on duty, or go missing for a year. The rules here are remarkably empathetic. Age limits can be freely relaxed, one child or a widow can be appointed with any means test, even if another family member is already earning. It acts as a structural, institutional safety net for the wider railway family.
Then, we've got the sports quota. Outstanding athletes who compete at state or international levels can completely bypass the standard exams through a strictly allocated annual quota. Different regional units have specific numerical allocations. For example, the Northern and Western Railways have a combined quota of 20 open slots in Group C. This ensures the railways are constantly recruiting top-tier physical talent to represent them in national competitions. It's a win-win.
And it goes beyond sports too. The side doors extend to society at large. The railways actively carve out space for artistic talent, allowing general managers to make up to 4 appointments a year for outstanding cultural activities and 2 for dedicated scouts and guides. Crucially, they also ensure a full 3% of total recruitment is strictly reserved to empower physically handicapped persons, allocating specific percentages for the blind, the deaf and dumb, and the orthopedically handicapped, even offering a 5-year relaxation in the age limit to help these candidates get their foot in the door.
So what does this all mean? It leaves us with a genuinely fascinating thought about organizational design. On one hand, we've seen a completely impersonal computerized exam system and an elite leadership pipeline governed by a strict 3,300-point metric. On the exact same token, we see a system that actively reserves space for grieving families, artists, and the disabled. Can the rest of the world's mega corporations learn something from how this bureaucratic giant balances absolute rigor with genuine compassion? It's absolutely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning how the massive systems around you are truly built.